In this lesson, we'll talk about blockchain tokens. We'll learn what a cryptocurrency is. We'll learn about NFTs and what makes them different from cryptocurrencies. We'll talk about how NFTs are priced in the Reddit store and what sets the price when they are traded on secondary marketplaces. We'll also look at how NFT mint numbers can influence their value on the secondary market. Then we'll talk about what a blockchain transaction is. We'll look at a few examples of blockchain transactions and the link between blockchain transactions and blocks on the blockchain. Then we'll look at how blocks are related to the blockchain. We'll finish off by talking about blockchain transaction finality. If you visit a casino, before you can place a bet, you need to go to the casino cashier to exchange cash for casino chips. These chips simplify calculations and transactions. They also offer better security against theft and counterfeiting than cash. You can think of a blockchain token as being similar to a digital casino chip. A cryptocurrency is an electronic way to store or exchange wealth using blockchain tokens. Examples of cryptocurrency are Bitcoin, Ether, and Pol. If you loan $10 to a friend, you don't care if they pay you back with a different $10 note. They each have the same value. This property is known as fungibility. So we can think of cryptocurrency tokens as being blockchain tokens that are fungible. Similar to a cryptocurrency token, an NFT is also a blockchain token. If you are a parent and drop your 5-year-old child to school, you probably don't want to collect just any 5-year-old child at the end of the school day. Unlike $10 notes, they are not equivalent. Each is unique in their own way. So we can think of an NFT as a blockchain token that isn't fungible. That's where it gets its name, NFT, non-fungible token. An NFT is used to represent digital ownership. This could mean a digital ticket to a seated comedy show, ownership of digital art, or could be used to give you certain voting rights in a DeFi project. In the example of a seated comedy show, your NFT may give you a seat with a great view beside your friends. You may value this more than a seat on your own in the back corner beside the toilets. In the example of ownership of digital art, your NFT may give you a unique, one-of-a-kind piece of artwork, like a CryptoPunk NFT. There could be multiple copies of the same piece of artwork. Each piece has a unique token ID and mint number. Some people value certain mint numbers over others. You can see here, Final Boss mint number 99, Final Boss mint number 98, Final Boss mint number 97, etc. These are still unique. You could consider these to be like limited edition digital prints, numbered and signed by the artist. For example, there were 300 Final Boss RCAs made in Gen 2, but there will only ever be one Final Boss number 11. When you buy direct from the Reddit store, all mint numbers of each RCA are priced the same. So for example, looking at Wade, there will only ever be about 100 of this RCA made. It is priced at $49.99 in the Reddit store. Mint number 1 will cost the same as every other mint number of this RCA if you buy it from the Reddit store. Secondary markets like OpenSea and RCAX work more like eBay than the Reddit store. The price of RCAs on the secondary market is set by supply and demand. Let's take a look at what difference mint number made on the secondary market price of RCAs in 2024 when RCAs were in a bear market. Radar mint number 1 sold for 2.8x the average of the last 5 sales of other mints of that RCA. Scratch mint number 1 sold for 3.3x the average of the last 5 sales of other mints of that RCA. Cherry Blossom mint number 1 sold for 0.3x the average of the last 5 sales of other mints of that RCA. Some people are prepared to pay more to get particular mint numbers on the secondary market. It's really difficult to say how much of a difference mint number makes. It varies a lot with market sentiment. Here is an estimate 0x Martin B made on Doom.com. He estimated the value of a number 1 mint RCA from Gen 1 or 2 in early 2023 on the secondary market was the latest price of a similar RCA with a mint number that isn't sought after, multiplied by 2.2, and then added on $700. Then for other mint numbers, the value would decrease. For artists who are in high demand, the premium can be a lot higher in a bull market for RCAs with special mint numbers in a bear market, and for artists with less demand, the premium can be a lot lower. I've shared links to analysis on Duel.com related to RCAs in the resources section of the course. We're going to take a look at a few examples of blockchain transactions to get an overview. We'll go into more detail later in the course. A simple blockchain transaction could be sending cryptocurrency from one address to another address. A transaction could be sending an NFT, which is uniquely identified by its token contract address and token ID, from one address to a different address. A transaction could be a little bit more complicated, like executing a smart contract, where an NFT, uniquely identified by its token contract address and token ID, is sent from the seller's address to the buyer's address. In the same transaction, the smart contract also takes the sale price from the buyer's address and sends it to the seller's address, takes a commission from the buyer's address and sends it to the artist's address, takes a fee from the buyer's address and sends it to the address of the platform the NFT was sold on, in this case OpenSea. Transactions are grouped together into what we call blocks. A new block is created every 10 minutes on the Bitcoin network, every 12 seconds on the Ethereum network, and every 2 seconds on the Polygon network. Each new block gets added to the previous block. Together, they give the complete history of transactions on the network. This is called the blockchain. On traditional crypto networks, after a block has been added to the blockchain, validators continue to check the transactions in the block are valid and don't break any rules. If all transactions in the block pass the checks done by validators, the block is finalized. You could think of this process like locking the block to the blockchain and throwing away the key. All transactions in that block are considered to be written permanently to that blockchain once they are finalized. If you found this helpful, like, subscribe and hit that bell to learn more about RCAs, NFTs and crypto.